In recent times, I've received more and more inquiries from you guys regarding Suzuki's little Jimny, and specifically whether or not the Jimny is a suitable vehicle to use for overlanding, and it's a very good question. Now, in order to answer this question properly for you, we've decided to buy our own Suzuki Jimny.
Zambia is definitely one of the most overlooked destinations for overlanding, but in my opinion, Zambia is the Premier League of overlanding destinations. It's an overlanding mecca.
When we arrived at Ironman to go and collect a few things before tour, we saw Mick packing the Jimny and he said he was taking it with him. I was like, no, you're not. Oh, you really? You really are.
I got myself a little performance certificate from the Zambia Traffic Police.
Yes, the roads are difficult in some places. The conditions can be tough. The one place that stands out of all of them is South Luangwa National Park. I'm Simon Steadman from Ultimate Adventures, and we operate guided self-drive 4x4 tours through southern and eastern Africa. This particular tour to North and South Luangwa is probably one of our more adventurous tours on the calendar. But in my opinion, the Luangwa Valley is probably one of the most spectacular wildlife destinations in Africa.
G'day folks, I'm Mick van Zyl from Ironman 4x4. Welcome to a new Ironvan Adventures overlanding series. This time around we're heading back to Zambia with Simon and Des from Ultimate Adventures. We're going to stick to the east of the country and we're going up to North and South Luangwa, arguably one of Africa's top wildlife destinations. For this trip I've decided to saddle up our newly built Ironman 4x4 overlanding Jimny. That sounds like a bit of a paradox in one sentence, but there it is. We spent a couple of days putting this vehicle together. Check out the link below to that video series. And really this trip is the culmination of this build. We're going to see how this vehicle will do overlanding through Africa over a long distance. It is fully packed. There's space for me on my seat and that's just about it. Our trip starts here this morning at Elephant Sands in Botswana. It's about 300 k's up to the Kazangula border post. Once through the border, that's when our adventure really starts.
Today we're heading off to Camp Nkwazi. It's just under 300 kilometers. We're going to head north through Kazangula where we're going to fill up. Then we tackle the famous Kazangula border crossing, and after that drive off to Camp Nkwazi where we can chill by the Zambezi River and watch the sun go down and forget about that border crossing. Camp Nkwazi is a beautiful little campsite on the banks of the Zambezi River. It's one of our favorite campsites to visit when we're heading up this way. Beautiful grassy lawns on the camp, the ablutions are fantastic, and the deck overlooking the Zambezi is really a special place to enjoy a sundowner.
So we've just arrived at Camp Nkwazi, about 45 k's inside of Zambia. Came through the Kazangula border post. That was challenging to say the least. 3 and a bit hours it took us to get through there. We were 10 vehicles, but I believe you can go online and register and it'll speed the process up, so check out for that. We might post the link in the description below, so that'll ease your border crossing at Kazangula. Tomorrow we've got a long day up to Lusaka, but Camp Nkwazi is very nice. It's very rustic, very peaceful. We're quite a ways away from the road. Down by the river there's a deck which we're going to go to now. Rule number 1 though about overlanding is when you get to camp, first thing you do is put up your tent in case you're unable to do so later. So I'm traveling with the new Ironman Uber Light tent on top of the Jimny. Very light, and this is the second night I'm putting it up and it's getting quicker and quicker. It's a soft shell tent, so it has a cover over it that you take off and flop it open. Open the windows and off you go. So looking forward to another night's rest. Last night was very nice in that tent, so looking forward to another night after today in the Uber Light.
Well, after a good night's sleep, the tough border is behind us, all forgotten. Now we head north to Lusaka. Fairly easy road today, a little bit of truck traffic, but fairly good tar road. 500 k's, should be there by about 4 o'clock this afternoon.
So convoy, today's drive up to Lukasa, it's going to be just over 500 k's. It's going to be one of our more testing drives. Once we get close to Lusaka, there's going to be some truck traffic. The road's going to be a little bit uneven, so lots of patience required today, but once we get there, it'll all be worth it.
I thought I'd elaborate a bit about the Jimny and the trip thus far. So we're now properly in Zambia and speed limits are lower. Roads are arguably not as good as back in SA. But the trip from Johannesburg up to Elephant Sands was pretty uneventful. I think the Jimny is quite well behaved. It's not the quickest vehicle out there, and you've really got to time your overtaking very carefully in order to do so safely and not take any chances, which, yeah, don't do that. With all the gear that we've fitted, I guess the biggest issue would be around the roof rack and the rooftop tent, which is just enlarged the profile of the vehicle, so it has to push, it has to work harder to push through the wind, through the air, and I can really tell that that is an issue. The other thing we did was to go slightly taller on the tires, but very, very slightly. And I think that has had quite a negative effect on the tractability of the vehicle. Fifth gear, it really struggles to maintain speed even up the slightest incline. So to maintain 120 kilometers an hour, the speed limit on the open road, it's a bit of a challenge, and yeah, any uphill you start losing speed very quickly. But that shouldn't be much of an issue now in Zambia. Like I said, speeds are lower, so national speed limit here is 100. And thus far this morning, it's doing okay. Fuel consumption is not great, around 12.5 litres per 100 k's back in SA. Here in Zambia, at lower speeds, we're probably down to 9.6, which is there or thereabouts, considering the vehicle is taller and it's got this big roof rack and rooftop tent on the roof, which is not helping things. That's not too bad. Has compromised range a little, but Dirk in the Hilux was kind enough to carry some emergency fuel for me. Haven't used it yet and don't plan on using it. We want to see if we can do this trip with the fuel stops available en route, but we'll see how we go. The nitro gas shocks are really, really nice. I thought they may be a bit sharp, but now that I've spent some time in the vehicle, the control is very nice. It's not a jarring ride. It's actually quite supple, which is a bit surprising for such a small vehicle, short wheelbase, solid front and rear axles, a lot of weight going up and down under the vehicle, unsprung weight. But the ride's very good. Out on the open road, yeah, the wind sort of pushes it around a little bit. Unfortunately, I've had a lot of headwind, which doesn't help matters, but it's really comfortable. I really feel safe in it. But more than all of that, it's a heap of fun. I am having an absolute ball in this vehicle. It's small, it's dinky, but it's very comfortable. First 2 days we really spent, and today really, getting up to Lusaka, just spent out on the open road driving, and no fatigue. So far so good. I'm really looking forward to the rest of the trip in the Jimny. I think once we get off-road, that's going to be interesting, but I'll give you some more feedback then.
Mick, tell me about that pickle situation you had just had there.
Slice of cheese, roll it around the pickle, and it's just a very contrasting taste in your mouth between the sweetish cheese and the sour pickle.
Shall we give it a name, like a cheese pickle?
Okay. that's fine.
Thank you, Mick.
No problem. Use it whenever you want.
So this North and South Luangwa expedition is one of our adventure tours. It's only camping, but we provide dinner every night, proudly prepared by our legendary bush chef Master P. And I think what's nice about that and what attracts people is after a hard day's driving or game viewing, getting back after dark, you don't have to worry about starting a fire, wondering what am I going to cook tonight. You just bring your camp chair, sit by the fire, and dinner is provided.
I still try sometimes and understand like how he does it. Some nights we get to camp late and in 2 hours we call dinners ready and everybody's just flabbergasted. And the food that he produces on tour is second to none.
Day 2 on the road, buddy.
Absolutely. Bit of a trek. I think Simon said about 480 k's up to Kundalila Falls.
That's it.
Indeed, looking forward to that. I think today will be better than yesterday. We've only got sort of first 2 hours on the road with trucks and stuff, then we turn off the Great North Road. Yeah, it'll be good. It'll be good. Looking forward to the falls.
Good morning, Des. Good morning, Simon.
Good morning.
What's happening today?
We're off to Kundalila Falls.
Another long drive today, Dirk. Another long drive. Got to put in a bit of effort to get to the nice places.
That's overlanding.
That's overlanding.
Good morning, convoy. Destination today is the Kundalila Falls. We're going to continue north towards Kapuriamposhi, so still about 200 k's of the dreaded Great North Road. The conditions are not going to be much better than yesterday until we turn off at Kapuriamposhi, where we'll leave a lot of the trucks behind and then head up to Kundalila Falls, where we'll be able to enjoy a relaxing swim at the bottom of the falls and wash away the toils of the day.
Driving on Zambian roads is an intense experience. You need to keep your concentration levels up. Trucks are passing you from the back, buses, they're passing each other from the front, so you need to concentrate. And Mick in the Jimny, it's quite impressive. He's been passing the trucks at a very good speed. So he's obviously with a manual gearbox revving that Jimny, and it's doing extremely well. So well that him and I think 3 or 4 other people from the group got a fine. They just got pulled over and unfortunately they were passing a truck, and in the passing they each got a fine. So Mick, I'm proud of you, well done on pushing that Jimny so fast that you actually got a fine and a certificate for that. Congratulations.
For those of you that have done long overlanding tours cross-border, you'll know what I'm talking about when I say some days are more challenging than others. Today was just such a day. Today is day 4. We left Lukasa campsite this morning in Lusaka. We're on our way to the falls, and we've decided to cut our trip today a little short because this Great North Road in Zambia was just very, very challenging today. I got myself a little performance certificate from the Zambia Traffic Police in the Jimny, no less. Missed a speed limit sign, went a little too fast, and I got myself a performance certificate. But other than that, yeah, challenging day, but you know, it's part of the fun. For those of you that haven't done long overlanding trips, don't be put off. It's well worth the effort and the headache sometimes. In lieu of where we are going to Luangwa. We're still looking very, very forward to that. We've pulled into Fika Lodge, previously known as Forest Inn, to spend the night, and we'll hit the road again tomorrow and continue our trip.
What you up to, buddy?
Just a little change of plan. Zambia's thrown a couple of curveballs at us, so we've just had to reroute a little bit. So I'm just figuring out where to from here.
You look very professional.
Is it? Thank you. Like my glasses.
I do.
Make you look clever.
You are. Desiree,
Turkey.
what are you doing?
I'm repacking my fridge, making some order in here. It's been a few travel days and everything's just been gooid in. So now I'm putting it properly. Putting nicely.
I put it to you.
I put it to you. Carrot cake?
Sure. That dessert for one of the nights.
No, it's mine.
Yer. Master P, what's for dinner tonight?
Beef casserole.
Beef casserole.
Yes.
What's your secret to cooking in the bush?
I don't know, keep it for me. If I share, they'll use my skills.
They will use your skills.
Yeah.
The secret stays with Master P.
Number one.
Jeremy.
Jeremy.
I know we'll make it right. We've been here before. I know we crossed the line. It's hard to ignore. This weight is down on me. You got me on my knees. Won't you give me sweetness and light for my restless mind? Please give me a way to escape this world gone astray. You could give me a little peace of mind in these troubled times. Won't you give me a way to be free from these chains that bind me?
We've just arrived at the Kundalila waterfalls. They're about a 20-minute walk away from the campsite. Everybody has just found their spot in the campsite, busy putting their tents and stuff up, and then we'll take a brisk walk down to the waterfalls and check it out. From all accounts, it's quite spectacular. Tomorrow we're on our way to Capicia Springs, where we're spending 2 nights. But for now, we're going to enjoy the falls, make a nice fire here in the campsite. Nice big open campsite, very pleasant.
I never knew your name. My dream didn't tell me. What I want to do.
Kundalila Falls is situated just on the edge of the Luangwa Valley, and the Luangwa Valley and South Luangwa in particular marks the end of the Great Rift Valley. You can imagine as you enter that area, the views and the mountains and the scenery you start seeing is quite spectacular.
Kundalila is a very cool place. It's got a beautiful, I want to say walk, but it's more like a hike down to the waterfall, down to the pools, and you can actually swim at the bottom. So when we got there, I think people were quite tired, but I convinced everybody, put on the cozies and let's go, because it was also quite hot. So I think the thought of swimming in the pools underneath the waterfall got everybody. But the walk was quite intense, but we took it slowly, and it was through beautiful trees, beautiful forests, and yeah, most of us swam.
I don't know where to go. We are by, but we're down. this life, but truth or dare. Flux, it's always there. This you know, this you think you know, this you need.
Tell you what, the climb down to the waterfall at the bottom, it's quite a climb, and up, of course, even worse, but man, it's worth it. Everybody got in the pool at the bottom. Feels so fresh right now.
The Kundalila Falls campsite is another place we like to stop when we're heading north in Zambia. The campsite's not much, but it's all you need. But the Kundalila Falls are a little hidden gem, really. There's a nice little walk down to get there. It's a little bit strenuous, but once you get to the bottom and you look up at those falls and swim in that rock pool there, it really is spectacular.
Kapisha is just, it's so different and so unique in its own way. From the drive in, just feels like you've completely been taken back in time.
Kapisha Hot Springs is actually the perfect place to have a rest day. We'll have been on the road for a few days, driving some terrible roads, so those hot springs are a welcoming sight. So from Samala Camp we head kind of down through North Luangwa National Park until we get to the Luangwa River, and there we're faced with one of the biggest challenges of the trip. There's a little pontoon crossing to go over the Luangwa River, and the unfortunate thing is it's quite a small pontoon, so you can't fit a vehicle and a trailer on in one go.
Thank you so much for watching. If you do like the videos, please like and subscribe and share with your friends. And if you want to tour with Ultimate Adventures, go to ultimateadventures.tv. See you next time.
So I'm just checking my hair, Mick, if you don't mind. Is it okay?
Yeah, okay.
Is it okay?
Yeah.
Thank you. That's fluffy.
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 Oh, okay, let's go with fluffy.